My colleagues are impressed, to say the least. One of the ladies that I've worked with, I've known her for 25 years. She's worked for us for probably 15. And she's like, "You actually quit smoking." And I said, "Yeah, I did." "And you lost weight?" And I like, "Yeah, I did."
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I'm really excited. We are having our second Smoke Freedom interview with former smokers who have become free of smoking. And I have the lovely Micky Fleming here today with us. Micky, yeah, maybe you can tell us a little bit about you and how we're going to talk a little bit about your story, your how you got into smoking and everything. But I just wanted to thank Micky for being here today with us. So thank you for joining us for Smoke Freedom.
Well, thank you, Rita. Thank you for everything. And I'm very happy to participate in today's interviews. If one more person can quit smoking, then that's a success. Well, I'm 64. I don't tell people that much, but I started taking my mom's cigarettes when I was in grade 5. So probably grade 10, I guess age 10 or 11. So I'm very pleased to have quit.
So you, like a lot of people, your mom smoked. Did your dad smoke as well, or was it just your mother?
Just my mom and my
Okay.
grandfather.
Okay. Yeah, I remember my very first cigarette was pretty young at the age of 8, sneaking somebody else's mother's cigarette. But yeah, that was always the go-to, right? It was the parents' cigarettes, right? So you
Yeah.
started sneaking. How old were you when you became a full-blown, what you would consider a habitual smoker?
High school. Yeah,
Yeah.
grade 11, grade 10, in that area.
Yeah.
Long
And
time ago.
it was at that time because were kind of in the same age range. It was very cool and popular to be a smoker, right? Cool.
Oh,
The curl girls did that, right?
absolutely. It was the cool girl. Somebody wanted a bit of an edge, not the goody two shoes. So yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember when I moved to New York City, I started smoking because everybody I thought was so cool. They were black, they were like really put together, and it was just the thing to do. And so so in between that age and now, did you, other than becoming a non-smoker recently, remind me when you stopped smoking? How long has it been with the Smoke-Free 123 program?
8 months. I quit smoking June 18th, 2022. Um, and haven't looked back. It's awesome, Rita. I can't thank you enough. It's
Oh,
tremendous. Yes, tremendous. And
oh,
yeah, yeah, just like New York, wearing black, trying to be skinny, trying to be cool. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. Well, so now tell me over the years, when did you start trying to quit smoking? At what point were you like, I just got to
Ah,
put this behind me?
I think I would have been about 22 or thereabouts. I'd met my husband. He was a non-smoker. I didn't realize I was smoking as much as I was. I was the only person working in an office for a small sawmill. My job was to answer the phone and put on coffee. It eventually grew to many other things. However, I was smoking 2 packs a day at that point, and my husband said, "You smoke so much," and I'm like, "No, I don't." But I was buying them by the carton, and I started actually tracking how many smokes I was having in a day. And yeah, on a weekend, I would open more than 2 packs.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I remember working some desk jobs and, in those days you would sit and just smoke at your desk, right? So, and it was very mindless. It wasn't nowadays you have to get up, go outside. It's a whole thing. That was just like, I remember a summer job I had. I was just one right after the other and yeah, it's easy to lose track.
Mhm.
So you started at 22. How did you try to quit? What did you do?
I tried quitting. Actually, I was probably 24 when I gave it a real serious attempt. And the narrative I use for myself is I'll have one later. So I'm not very good
Mhm.
at being told what to do. My rebel is like, hell on that. I'm having whatever I want. So I just was having one later, having one later, having one later. And I did quit after about 2 years. And I quit for almost 10 years.
Okay.
And
So a
then
significant period of time.
Exactly. I'd have the odd one, but by odd one, I mean once every 2 or 3 months. And then we had someone move in with us. We were helping out a friend who smoked like a chimney. And then after a few glasses of wine, and yeah, I started again. And then I've tried. Actually, I tried the patch, I tried Nicorettes. I really wanted to quit smoking. I didn't like the smell of it anymore. It's certainly not cool anymore by any means. And
Mm.
and I knew how bad it was for my health. And getting older and it just but I just always went back to it. In fact, the time before I did Smoke Free 123, my husband actually bought me cigarettes. I was so grumpy, and that was probably about, oh, I don't know, 6 or 8 months before the hypnotherapy. And he actually went and bought me a pack of smokes and it's like, here, have these. You're just like evil. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And he's like, yes, you are. So when a friend of mine was telling me about smokefree123.com, he actually quit. It'll be almost 2 years now for him. And he told me how easy it was and I should give it a try. And so I logged in and here I am.
Awesome. That is great. That's right. I forgot that. Was it Ken who referred
Yes,
you?
yes,
Yes.
yes. Ken
Okay.
Cullum.
Yes. So now, what did you think of hypnosis? Had you ever done any sort of hypnosis before?
Never. It was my first exposure, and I have to admit, skeptical. I've seen the things on TV, people walking around like a chicken, and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And that's just not, I'm too strong willed. And I just thought, not possible. However, I definitely was ready to quit. And as you made the point very clearly, I have to do the work, I have to want to quit. And I really did want to quit. I was very serious about it. I tried, virtually every pack of cigarettes I opened. It was like, okay, well, I'll quit the next one.
Mhm.
And at one point, I started saving all the cigarette packs that I had smoked to show myself, look, this is how many you've smoked since you were going
Yeah.
to quit. And so you really do need to quit. And yeah, I tried
It's
all sorts of
interesting
things.
with that, the aversion, like trying to show yourself, like, look at this, look at, the self-shame, and then
Hmm.
the also the health, because as we get older and it becomes more apparent how it can impact our health, it's interesting that actually it's bad for you, backfires.
Yeah,
Look at how much you smoke, backfires. You
backfired.
cannot approach it with the self-shame. It doesn't work. And even if you're trying to quit for your health, you start feeling better and you forget how bad smoking made you feel. You have to, I mean, in my mind, it's really your freedom and not being controlled is becomes the most important thing for your mind.
Agreed completely. The self shame didn't work. I can beat myself up better than anybody, and it didn't get me anywhere at all. And for me, I could quit maybe for 3 days. At the end of 3 days, that horrible taste in my mouth in the morning was gone, and it was like, I had a bad day. I'm having a smoke. And then the next point for me that was always really hard was 3 months. You've
Mhm.
really, things are better, taste buds are working, and this time it was so funny, Rita. The rebel and the drama queen,
Critic
I call,
or
yeah.
okay, the diva, inner diva.
Yes, exactly. And so it had been a bad day, and I was sitting at my desk. I'd just come up to my office, and my rebel is like, oh, remember, you like smoking so much, and you look so cool with a smoke in your hand. You really should go get yourself a smoke. And my coach stepped in and said, I'm a non smoker. I'm a non smoker for the rest of my life, and I'm handling this like a non smoker. Went through the narrative. Couple 3 days later, again, I have to laugh because the other side, the critic, was like, bam, go to the store and get smokes. You've had a bad day. You deserve it. And it was like, holy crap. We went from this smooth influencer to the person with a stick. And fortunately, my coach stepped in, and the words I learned in hypnosis came straight to mind. And it's, I'm a non-smoker now, and I will be for the rest of my life. And for that, I get to
I
thank
love
you,
it.
Rita. Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
well, thank you. So, how it's for our audience who probably is like hypnosis, what is that like? What does it feel like? Can you do it? Because in the Smoke Free program, it isn't, you're listening to an audio. Tell us just about the experience of the program itself for you. How I know you found it through a friend, but what were your fears before you did the program, and what was the experience of actually going through the program itself like?
Okay, well, the cost of the program wasn't prohibitive, even if it was throwaway money in Canadian dollars. I think it was $100 US, so 135 or 140 Canadian. So that wasn't a showstopper. And I thought, what have I got to lose? Um, and Ken spoke so strongly about it and how easy it was for him. And so I did a fair bit of reading. I know the actual hypnotherapy is, if I recall correctly, an hour, maybe two. But I put about 8 hours of prep into it. I read everything that you had available. I went through that twice. The day of the hypnosis, your point was to relax and have a safe place. I made my dog go to my work with my husband. I unplugged the phones. I had a shower. I had clean sheets on the bed, which I laid on top of. I made sure that the environment was, in my mind, as best as I could make it based on your instructions. And it worked. I absolutely, to this day, your words come to me. It's awesome. It was very
That is cool.
influential. Let's say that it's the mental path, and also learning the critic and the influencer, the rebel, and where those were. And in fact, when I quit this time, my husband said I wasn't grumpy at all. And that
That
is the thought management process that you teach us. A thought comes in. Just because a thought comes in, it's based on emotion. But is that thought right or wrong? Let's put just a little bit of critical thinking in there and evaluate that thought as the fly on the wall or an observer, rather than someone that's engaged in it. And so being able to take that thought and say, thank you very much for joining me. However, I'm not going to go to the store and buy smokes no matter what you say. So
because
as
I'm a
thought management,
non-smoker.
yeah, exactly. And I can handle this like any other non-smoker would. And so that thought management process applies to all aspects of life. It really does, not just quitting smoking, although it
Yeah.
absolutely made it easy.
That's great. It's so interesting. You thought of the hypnosis is actually only a half hour, but there is preparation coaching, which I think that you were
Mhm.
considering in at the same time. So that takes a couple of hours. So I'm glad to hear. I love that you made your environment really wonderful for yourself, clean sheets. Other people have said they do the same. They take a shower, they, get all the smoke off and they get ready to be a non-smoker before they actually do the hypnosis session. That's awesome. So now you've been a non-smoker for 8 months. I know you said like the process, you felt pretty good afterwards. I mean, maybe you can tell because people are like, yeah, but what's the first week like after you go through this process? I mean, you mentioned thought management. You mentioned your husband was, you weren't, evil as you had said before.
The
I love
first week
that.
was so easy, Rita. It
Really
was,
good.
yeah. My hiccup time was probably about 3 months again, but it was easy. I so wanted it in the first place. And the hypnotherapy gave me tools to handle those thoughts because self shame, those things, beating myself up just doesn't work. You've got, the rebel and the critic, but the
Yeah.
coach, the reasonable person in the middle. I don't mean to hum and haw so much, but it really was easy. I wanted it. I didn't want to smoke. And when I had that thought, it was like, thank you very much for coming. That's an old habit that I'm getting rid of. And I can handle this like any non smoker would. You made it easy. I was amazed at how easy it really was.
Mm.
Honestly, I that's what Ken had told me. And I'm like, nah, not possible. But it is. It really was.
Wow. Well, I'm really glad. And I think what was key was you were ready. You really wanted
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
Uh, so how does it feel now, 8 months down the road? I mean, do you ever, people are probably like, well, do you think of it now? Like you mentioned, like every once in a while, there's this voice that comes in your head, it's like, go buy cigarettes or something. But how does it feel to be a non-smoker 8 months in?
Oh, it feels great. My taste buds are back. Food tastes so much better. And I'll touch on that because I have lost 20 pounds, also with thought management. Thank you. That was one of my biggest fears was gaining weight. So that hasn't happened. This is maybe too much information, but my receding gums are growing back.
Oh,
Um,
that's fantastic.
yeah, my smokers lines are definitely lighter. They'll never go away, but they're not getting worse, which is really good. My husband and I have been walking 4 kilometers in the morning, and I'm not winded, so that's great. It's been everything I would hope and wish for everyone. I'm never going to be as though I was never a smoker because I smoked for so long. What is that, 44 years or 45 years? However, and then the 10-year break in the middle, but still, I feel great and it's been good. And your words come back to me. The hypnotherapy works. And so when I do have that thought about a cigarette, and I probably will for the rest of my life, like a recovering alcoholic, I'm a recovering smoker, but I'm now a non-smoker. But I know how to handle it. I know the words are ingrained and I don't want to smoke. And it's like you said, if you have one, you're done. So it's just, nope,
You move on.
I'm doing well. Yes, thank you.
Well, that's so great to hear. And I can assure you, I know 8 months in that it there's still that tentativeness, but I think there will be a time where you go for so long. And maybe you felt that when you were a non-smoker for 10 years, but you kind of forget, wow, I mean, I remember that I smoked, but I don't think about it too much anymore, even though I talk about it a lot with people. Um, I have one other question. How are the people in your life about it? Your husband, colleagues? I mean, are they proud of you?
Oh, yes. My husband is tickled pink. And in fact, there's so many things in life that I talk about the knowing doing gap. So many things that we know are good for us that we want to accomplish, but we never do. And very often we strive to reach the horizon. We'll never reach the horizon. It's always going to be out there. And so we need to focus on progress, not perfection. And quitting smoking for me was a major milestone, just a major milestone. And so then losing weight, which I'm still continuing to do. My husband is tickled pink. He's now, and I can start a list. He's now fixed the drywall crack in the ceiling in the living room. He took the shower apart on the weekend and he's fixing that. It's proven to him that he always said to me before, I'm not a quitter. So because I tried to quit so many times, and he goes, you're not a quitter. That's all there is to it. Well, I've proven to him that things can change and that we are making positive changes and focusing on progress, not perfection. And with the smoking, for me, it's been fantastic. My colleagues are impressed, to say the least. One of the ladies that I've worked with, I've known her for 25 years. She's worked for us for probably 15. And she's like, you actually quit smoking. And I said, yeah, I did. And you lost weight? And I like, yeah, I did. She was telling her husband, and she's saying she actually did it. So, definitely, I don't know, inspiring maybe to other people. Um, but it sure feels good. And they know it. And I don't smell like a pack of cigarettes. My car doesn't smell like a pack of cigarettes. It's freedom. It absolutely is freedom. And not being controlled by something else, not being in control of my own thought process. It's just, yeah, no, it's awesome.
Oh, well, okay, one last thing. If there was somebody out there who, is struggling, frustrated with their own smoking habit, what would be, I mean, I think you already said it, progress, not perfection, but like, is there one little piece of advice that you would give them about, opening that door, that step forward for them in their first step to really putting smoking behind them?
Sure, absolutely. If I can do it, you can do it.
Mm,
I was, my God, I would get up in the middle of the night to have a smoke.
mm.
So if I can do it, you can do it. Don't wait. It's possible. It's absolutely doable for everybody. All you have to do is want to be able to quit. And if you want to be able to quit, Rita, you've given me the tools to do it. I'm sure you would be able to give anybody the tools to do it. So
Oh,
why wait? That would be my advice to them. Why wait? Sign up today. And I'm not getting paid
oh.
for this, but that's what I would say.
No, no,
Do it.
you're here generously, and I just wanted you to give them that first, like, what, and you did, which was like, what's the step? And I love that. If I can do it, you can do it. I mean, that was, I watched other people who quit before me, and that helped me believe I could do it. So thank you, Micky, for being here today, generously giving your time. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure our audience does too. So thank you for interview two of the Smoke Freedom series. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.